Commission candidates in August. The interview panel selected incumbent member Reinhardt to continue for another term on Planning Commission and indicated that Mr. Gearhart should be considered for the next vacant position. Mr. Gearhart's background is a Washougal resident since the year 2000, previously involved in the Washington County community planning process as a member of the community planning organization, managed land acquisition and development activity for the Pacific Lifestyles Homes from 1997 to 2008, serves as a member of the Gresham Developers Advisory Council working on revision of multifamily housing code and an 8-year member of the board of the Parks Foundation of Vancouver and Clark County.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other comments, questions?
Mr. Mayor, for future reference, one thing that we did not get the privilege of having and was requested several times in the last administration was an advanced copy of resumes for appointments so that we know exactly who we're voting for. I'm sure that Mr. Gearhart's a great individual and his resume sounds stellar, but it would really be helpful to know ahead of time so that we can really take a look at who it is we're voting for to affirm that appointment. So I think that would really be a huge help. At least I know speak for myself and in that regard. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So noted. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Couple of items. Couple of items for council. First, did everybody get their council packets at some point through the delivery system?
Yes.
Did that
Thank you.
work okay for everybody? Wonderful.
I would still respectfully ask that I get a soft copy because that's my storage mechanism. I prefer that,
You
so
bet.
I like the paper copy, but the soft copy as well.
Yes, likewise.
Okay. And following up on that, again, one of the main goals of that was to make sure that you get the council packets and the workshop packets in the earliest time frame possible. In doing that, I also want to make sure that even though you've got the information, you've also got department heads to call on to be able to ask questions of information that may be in there. So department heads, we are discussing going away from the 4:10 schedule for department heads so that you have them available on Fridays as well. Although with the caveat, they may not be here all day on Friday given their meeting schedule earlier in the week. But I would certainly look forward to having department heads available to answer any questions that you've got as you get those packets and go out from there. Council planning retreat, council and staff is this Friday and Saturday. Mr. Halverson and I are meeting tomorrow afternoon with Bob Knight from Clark College and his staff who will be here with him assisting and facilitating that. So certainly if you have, I've gotten a number of suggestions for topics for those sessions, all of which we won't be able to go through. So we're going to call out our most timely and move from there and move the other ones on to the next possible work sessions. If there are additional items for topics that you want to see put into that mix, it would be very helpful for us to get those before late afternoon or late morning tomorrow to take into that meeting as we get into form that agenda for Friday and Saturday. AWC Legislative Conference. Mr. Halverson and myself are scheduled for that conference January 27th and 28th up in Olympia. I would also ask the council to entertain having a member of the legislative body accompany us up there as well for that conference.
I would like to go. I went last year, and actually I think the year before. I would also recommend, however, on the basis of conversation with Senator Zarelli and Representative Herrera, when AWC is in town, they're swamped. And so there you appear against a very busy background. If we have issues that we want to advance, we might be better served going the week before or something like that. Both Senator Zarelli and Representative Herrera, and actually, when I mentioned it to Representative Orca, he thought, all three of them thought that was a great idea and would be to our advantage.
Okay.
Anybody else want to go? Because I'll make the motion to send Paul.
And the dates are when?
The 27th and 28th
Of January.
of January.
And what does it cost?
Hotels and.
Molly is also an excellent and skilled and experienced participant in this. My own recommendation would be that both Molly and I, or at least two from council, go.
I'll make a recommendation that we send 2 council members to the AWC convention in Tacoma.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, and are both of you clear for those days? Vicky's going to make arrangements first thing in the morning, so.
I have some concerns. We still haven't seen a cost. I mean, I'm not going to appropriate money for something we don't know how much it's going to cost.
Well, you've actually already appropriated it in the budget,
Well, then why are you coming to us on this?
because I'm asking for which members would like to go so that we
Gotcha.
can get them properly
Okay.
registered.
And in the past, we've just
Right.
made the motion for it.
And it would be nice, however, to be able to tell the public how much these trips are costing as well. I think it would be for
Lloyd, do you remember what
transparency's sake.
registration is for the legislative conference?
The range is a couple $100s. I'm a little reluctant to quote it just from memory. I like to be right. And we can certainly do the follow-up and get that information out to everyone.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Next item, just a reminder that the January 18th, we do not have a meeting that evening due to the Martin Luther King holiday. We will have a meeting on January 19th. However, it won't be here. It won't be a council meeting. It'll be a council workshop, joint council workshop with the city of Camas and with the port of Camas Washougal. That meeting is currently scheduled for 7 o'clock in the evening in the second-story gallery of the Camas Public Library. I believe that's all I have at the moment.
Mr. Mayor, now is that meeting, is that an official meeting in regards to, will there be roll call taken and so forth? Or is that,
It'll be as official as your workshops normally, in a different location, a different time.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Stevenson, correspondence?
Yes, we have one letter from Bernice Pluchhaus. The letter reads, "Dear Mayor Guard and council members, regarding the proposed change of East Street from 4 lanes to 2 with a turning lane in a roundabout at 17th Street, I suggest that this proposed change be tabled for the time being. Too many problems are showing up. Purchase of adjacent properties, true traffic evaluations, and additional discovered costs. Instead, there's a real need for improvement in many of the streets in the city of Washougal. I took a random driving survey this weekend from 32nd Street to 34th Street, from G Street to J Street, cross streets. The roads are in real need of modernization. Instead of gravel and mud on the sides of the streets, a simple curbing would be so welcomed. It must be very difficult for the homeowner to keep the front edge of their property neat with the irregular paving and gravel and mud next to the street. Sidewalks would be useful too, but at least a curb for a start should not be prohibitive in cost. I know there are many other streets in Washougal that could use an upgrade too. Perhaps a citizen survey could be made to report to the city council where improvements could be made. A volunteer citizens group would be appropriate in these difficult financial times. I would be willing to serve on such a community. Thank you for considering these proposals. Yours truly, Bernice S. Pluchhaus.
And council comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Mr. Delvar.
Friday, January 22nd is National March for Life.